How's everybody doing? Today we're going to do a test on the Little Blowtorch fire starter. And we're going to see what would happen if you're out in your boat or canoe, took on water or possibly capsized, and the products got into the lake or river. Well, first of all, you'd want them to float so you can retrieve them. So let's see if it floats. Looks like it floats pretty good. Then after being dunked in the lake or river, one of the first things, or not the first thing you're going to want to do is start a fire. Get yourself dry and warm. So let's see how it'll work immediately coming out of the water. Today it's a little bit breezy today, so that's also a good test for it. All right. Start it up. It did take me 2 strikes with the lighter, but the wick was completely wet and there's a lot of water pooled around the top of the fire starter. Now right now, I don't know if you can hear it, but the water that's pooled around the top is just crackling and burning off from the flame of the wick. Now the key will be if the flame continues down from the wick into the main body of the fire starter, which is where we get the good flame. I can literally see, I don't know if you can see it on the video, I can literally see the water bubbling and boiling on the top of the fire starter right now. I think if I was starting a fire out in the wild, I would do everything I could to protect it from the wind. So as you can see, that's what I'm doing here. And I can tell you from testing this product many times, when the Little Blowtorch is completely dry, by this time, maybe a minute or so after you light it, you would normally have about a 3 or 4 inch flame. Don't quite have that now, but I think we're going to. It'll just take a little bit longer, obviously, because it's soaking wet. Now the wick is starting to burn itself down into the body of the fire starter. And the water that is pooled up on the top of it continues to bubble and boil. I think approximately 2 to 3 minutes have passed, and still getting the burning action primarily from the wick, although it's starting to work its way down into the main body where it will produce the large flame that you're looking for when starting a fire. Now, if I were to have started another one that was completely dry at the same time I started this one, I believe the dry one would be producing a fairly large flame by now. So the first thing we can see is when they're completely wet, in a worst case scenario, it takes a little bit longer to get the full flame. But I'm very confident we're going to get it here in just about a minute or so. Now, excuse me, as you can see, the flame is starting to encompass the tube itself. It's working its way down into the fire starter. The flame is getting larger, bigger. And we like to call the Little Blowtorch a one-strike spark. When it's completely dry, that's certainly true. We found out today when it's soaking wet after immediately after being dunked in water. I guess it's a 2-strike spark. That's still not too bad. And at this point, I think all the water that had pooled on the top has boiled away. We're down into it, and we're going to get probably, I don't think the video will run this long, but for about the next 20 to 25 minutes, it's going to produce a nice flame, strong enough and last long enough to light a fire under almost any conditions. One thing I don't want to do is burn my picnic table. That also shows you another point, though, with this product. Once the fire is started, and once you have your kindling and small sticks going to where you no longer need it, you can very carefully reach in, pull it out, blow it out, and save it for another day. So in that sense, it is reusable. Just be very careful when you do that. Well, I think we found out today that the Little Blowtorch is waterproof. It did take 2 strikes of a lighter to get it started. But once again, if you're just coming out after being dunked in a lake or a river and you're cold and shivering and you need fire, I don't think 2 strikes is that high of a price to pay to get something like this. Thanks for watching.